NDP Jagmeet Singh is commenting on the interference report that came out today, foreign interference report. The judge issuing her statement saying she doesn't believe there were any traitors in Parliament working for foreign governments like India or China. Let's listen in to what the NDP leader is saying.
Thanks for joining us today. We want to talk about the recent report released by Justice Hogue. We know that foreign interference is something that's very serious, something that Canadians are worried about. We want to defend our democracy. We want to make sure that our democracy is free from foreign interference. We also want to make sure that everyday Canadians can live their lives without the threat or harassment of a foreign government. So we had called for this public inquiry. The Liberals had said no. We were the first political party to call for it, and now we've got the report. What Justice Hogue has highlighted, I think one of the biggest points that she made in her report was the deep concern she has regarding misinformation and disinformation, particularly on social media, and how we do not have tools right now to combat that, and it is rampant. The amount of misinformation that is available is rampant, and that is a serious concern for our democracy and for an upcoming election. And so that is a concern that was highlighted by Justice Hogue. I think that concern is also exacerbated by the leader of the Conservative Party's decisions and his actions. Pierre Poilievre has accepted the endorsement of Elon Musk, someone whose platform is also one of the worst actors in a lot of ways around misinformation and disinformation. Coupled with the fact that Pierre Poilievre also wants to defund a public broadcaster, which is a source of real information, journalistic integrity, really highlights a dangerous set of priorities given Justice Hogue's findings of misinformation and the need for fact checks and fact confirmation. What other things that Justice Hogue highlighted, I want to point out, is he said that all political leaders should get security clearance and receive information that is pertinent to their parties or to democracy in general. And that highlights the real concerns that Canadians have raised about Pierre Poilievre, the only leader of a political party that has not received security clearance. And so that was highlighted. And I think finally, Justice Hogue did raise concerns about sitting parliamentarians and questionable or concerning behavior. And I'll highlight, she said, of questionable ethics. And that is something in the context of foreign interference that I'm concerned by. Ultimately, what we want to see is now the recommendations that Justice Hogue has made be implemented. I've instructed my party, my national director and team, to follow all of the recommendations as it relates to political parties so that we're doing our part. I encourage other political leaders to do the same. Donc, on a reçu le rapport de Justice Hogue. Premièrement, je veux remercier Justice Hogue pour son travail. I forgot to say this in English, and I want to just reiterate. I want to thank Justice Hogue for her work.
All right, so we're listening into the leader of the NDP, Jagmeet Singh. He is reacting to this report that was issued today on foreign interference in Canadian politics. Elections, big issue, of course. The judge has highlighted China and India as the main culprits trying to interfere in Canadian democracy. Singh talking about one of the big takeaways as well for him in this report is the rampant spread of misinformation in the Canadian political sphere. He says that is, of course, a big issue. It's important to point out the judge did say there's no evidence of traitors, so to speak, in Canadian Parliament. No evidence that MPs are working on behalf of foreign governments. That's good news. But still, this whole inquiry, which has gone on for more than 15 months now, has definitely been a big wake-up call for Canadians about just how at risk we may be for foreign countries trying to interfere, undermine Canadian democracy for their own aims. We'll keep our eye on all of that, though, that NDP press conference going on in Surrey, just outside Vancouver.